Ladies and gentlemen, the short man from Nandi, Samson Cherarget, sometimes appears to be mad. But the man is very intelligent. If you go to Senate records, he is one of the best or the top performing senators as far as the role of senators are concerned.
Mr. Speaker, you can see the majority are whispering that Anas. The person who knows Anas is Senator Sifuna. He said in public that he has Anas by the name. I don't want to mention the name. Was it Cindy or somebody? Mr. Speaker, and he said it on record in Migori in presence of Senator Gisheru, Ed. And I don't know, maybe you'll ask him why. In fact, that is why Sifuna is my greatest supporter today. Because when you talk about anything around health, he remembers one nurse that changed his life. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
This man spied on Rigathi Gachagua. You remember that time when there was this impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua? He was always with Rigathi Gachagua while the likes of Sudi were busy abusing and attacking Rigathi. Cherarget was always with Rigathi Gachagua.
Mimi nataka niulize Kimani Ichung'wah akuheshimu, awache madharau. Huyo anatakana kunyoroshwa viboko. Kama kunyoroshwa kwa primary, sisi wengine tutanyorosha kwa sababu bunge haiwezi kutumika kutusi naibu wa rais na hatutakubali.
What was he doing with Rigathi Gachagua? He was gathering intelligence around Rigathi Gachagua. So when Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, and when that impeachment motion was brought before the House, Cherarget voted to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. I'm giving you that story because there are certain things which Cherarget has been saying. And most people assume that Cherarget is mad. He is not mad. He is communicating. He's communicating something from somewhere and from somebody. So Cherarget is telling us that in the next election, they have a plan. And that plan is simple. Infiltrate Rigathi Gachagua's DCP party ahead of 2027 general election.
It is laughable because I just saw the former deputy president, impeached deputy president, just chatted in quietly like a muchawi. You know, he was chased away in London. In fact, he had told us he's going to raise 2 billion. But I'm told he raised only 2 million Kenya shillings, or was it 1.5 million shillings? Because the Kenyans in London knew that this is a political conman and they will not allow him to raise any money. So I want to warn the aspirants under DCP that DCP is the highest auctioning house. Even I've seen some of the Gitungatis like from Kirinyaga, Murango, I've seen Garungo Adangwa, the likes of Metu. All of them, they will have to buy the ticket. That ticket has been sold to the highest bidder. And as a government, Mount Kenya is a stronghold of UDA. We will not allow anybody or some individuals to masquerade. We are going to have our candidates in UDA and also in DCP, but they sing UDA at night. So we don't, and we know the neighboring. I was in Muranga. I was the neighboring to Muranga here in Kirinyaga. We have some women there. We must ensure we win. We must have people who are friendly. And after election, they'll come back home. They'll come back. So when I see people singing...
And for those who've been following this channel, there's one thing which I've consistently maintained. That if there's one thing which William Ruto is good at, and which is going to implement, and the opposition will do nothing about it, is that he's going to be able to infiltrate them. And now Cherarget is saying Ruto is not just going to infiltrate the political leaders. He's actually going to infiltrate by ensuring that those who will be nominated through DCP, those who will be elected through DCP, most of them will swear their allegiance to William Ruto. Most of them will actually be William Ruto's allies. In this video, I want us to talk about this because for those who've been here long enough, I want to take you back to 2017. I want to take you back to 2017? Yeah, to 2017. Something happened during the 2017 general election. William Ruto persuaded Uhuru Kenyatta to fold his party, TNA and UDA, to form a big political party. That big political party was called Jubilee. And because William Ruto was a deputy president and was eyeing 2022, and Uhuru Kenyatta was desperately looking for his election or his re-election, William Ruto did something. He took charge of UDA nominations. So by the time Uhuru Kenyatta was realizing after the election, William Ruto had managed to plant most of his allies as members of parliament. That's how people like Ndindi Nyoro, so many of them were elected. So that by the time Uhuru Kenyatta was falling out with Ruto in 2018, Ruto had an upper hand because he had planted his people and these people saw allegiance to him. Uhuru Kenyatta was left exposed. Rigathi Gachagua knows this so well. And that is exactly what Ruto is planning to do, according to the Nandi senator. But I want to give you the reasons why William Ruto is actually going to infiltrate most of these political parties. Not only DCP, is also going to infiltrate ODM. He's also going to infiltrate DCP. He's also going to infiltrate Linda Wananchi. In fact, most of the people will be elected in Linda Wananchi. Most of them will be members will be people whose allegiance will be to William Samoei Arap Ruto. You can take that, you can leave it. But why is he doing that? Number one, the fear of impeachment. I know you've been following whatever is happening in between Sonko and Faye. That is the fear. The truth is, if William Ruto had not managed to control leaders from the mountain, and if he had not managed to have Raila Odinga on his side, today probably William Ruto would have been a one-term government. He would have been the one impeached. So Ruto understands this game. And because he understands this game, and if you've been studying the current politics, it's going to be very difficult. It's not going to be easy for William Ruto to easily win. And even if he were to win the popular votes with a small margin. But looking at the numbers, Ruto is not going to win seats in Mount Kenya. He's also not going to win seats in the Luhya Nation. Ruto might not win seats. It's not going to win, not might, in Ukambani. You go to coastal region, ODM, maybe might win some seats there. Northern Kenya, he might win. In Rift Valley, places like Nakuru, he might not win most of them. So which means William Ruto might face another Kibaki moment, where Kibaki faced off with Raila. He was declared the president, but he didn't have enough MPs. So how do you ensure that you have enough MPs? You infiltrate and plant your people, so that immediately after the election, they'll start singing your songs. So if any impeachment motion is brought before the House, it is them who will throw it. That is the main reason why he's going to infiltrate DCP. Number two, and this is something which I keep on repeating. You see, there has been talks, and I think the same guy, Cherarget, has been talking about it, extending the term of President William Ruto in office. It might not happen now, but William Ruto will be serving his second term if he will win. Mark that, only if he will win between 2027 and 2032. After that, with all these things we are seeing, another Putin might happen, where William Ruto would say, we want to change the constitution to allow former presidents to become either prime minister or something. So an office of the Prime Minister is going to be created. For them to create that, and for them to change some of this constitutional, to effect some of this constitutional amendment, they will require 2/3. So if you are planning to do it tomorrow, you start planning today. That is what Cherarget is actually telling us. And this is something I also want you guys to note. There might be an attempt after the next election to actually change the term limit of the presidency. There has been this 7 years where now the first term will not be counted. Very important. Number 3, why Ruto will try to initiate. The third reason why William Ruto will attempt to infiltrate DCP and other political parties is because of the rerun. If there's one headache Ruto is facing, is the rerun. But how is this going to be important? How is it going to be implemented? You see, the first round would be okay. You run on DCP, you run on ODM, then you win. Then we go for a rerun. Then during rerun, the most important thing will now be the support you'll get from political parties. So let's say, for example, he managed to infiltrate Sifona's party and Rigathi Gachagua's party. And then these guys decide that Kalonzo is number 2, let us support Kalonzo. So Rigathi will support Kalonzo, Sifuna will support Kalonzo. But these MPs will say, us, we are now elected. The senators will say, us, we are elected. Sisi, 2-term. So they go this direction. Because there's nothing you can do once someone is elected. They can do whatever they want. Yeah, so that will help him solve that rerun equation. And importantly, he might want to have weak candidates win during DCP nomination. There's something which is happening in Onkalau. There's a gentleman there called, is he called The Link or something? Delight. There's a guy called Delight. Most people believe that this Delight guy would have won nominations whether on DCP or in UDA. But he ended up contesting in, I don't know whether UDA or DCP, but he lost. So most people are now playing his speech. That anybody who is seriously following the politics of Rift Valley should understand what happened to this guy. Because they believe the guy was very strong, but was rigged out. That's exactly what will happen. So that weaker candidate will be fronted. Once they are fronted, then it will be easy for them to lose, not necessarily to UDA in the mountain, but to other political parties or even independent candidates, who will then be sponsored by the government. Then once they lose to those independent candidates, then it will be easy now to manage. Importantly, my fourth point is the legislative agenda. If you're elected president, you'd want your agendas to be implemented, or you'd want to implement your manifesto. In most cases, you do that through parliament. You can only do that through parliament if you have numbers. That's why he's keen on that, because there's the fear that he might not get the actual numbers from his party. And of course, there is also the post-election defections. The people who will just go to the election. Once they are sworn in, they defect immediately. You saw what happened to Northern Kenya MPs who are in Azimio. They defected the second day after they were sworn in, just to improve. In fact, before even they were sworn in, to increase the numbers or to interfere with the majority and minority politics. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed it, please let me know in the comment section. Until next time, Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.